Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is all about my degree. So I know it's really hard, like picking a degree and picking what you want to do and where you want to go and everything. And I thought I'd give people an insight into what it's like if you want to do a degree and you work full time, you have children, you have other commitments where you can't necessarily go off and go to university. So this is my little guide to university and what I am doing, how I am doing it, and also the guide to what it's like being a student. The course I am doing is BA Honours Law in Criminology and Law. So my degree is actually not a degree that anybody expects I would have done. It's a totally different subject that I didn't necessarily do at school. I never did any A-levels or GCSEs that would have prepped me for it, and if anything it is definitely something that people look and go, Holly, are you actually doing a law degree? But I've actually proved myself wrong and I am in my third and final year of doing this degree, which I am really loving. Like, I didn't think I'd love this degree as much as I do, but honestly it has like changed everything about what I thought it would be like and how difficult it would be. And don't get me wrong, it's hard. Doing a degree, any degree, is not easy. Definitely 100% wow. But yeah, it is really good and I'm really enjoying this degree. So that is one thing about doing a degree. So the place that I am studying, my university, is called the Arden University. Now this is a form of an open university. If you don't know what open university is, it is basically blended learning. So that means you can either go full-time 3 years or up to 6 years part-time, and you can do them from long distance. You don't have to necessarily go to a university. But there are universities and courses where you can do a blended learning, where you can go to 1 or 2 night classes a week, and so you still get the whole thing of going to a class and doing that kind of university, but you're not actually having to go full-time at university like you would if you just left school, which I really actually quite like. I didn't think I'd like it at first, and I definitely had to sit and weigh up the pros and cons of doing it. And when I discussed doing it with Adam at the time, I was like, I'm thinking of doing this degree, I'm thinking of doing it through the Open University. And a lot of people ask questions like, oh well, how do you afford the Open University? Like, surely you must have to pay because you're not actually going to uni. And you'd be really surprised that the government actually help anybody to do a degree. Any form of adult learning, you get funded from the government, which is really incredible because it means you don't have to pay your student tuition loans until after your degree and when you're earning over a certain amount of money. And even then it is like, it's like nothing. It's like £30 out of your tax. You do not notice it. So yeah, my company, the university, is called the Arden University. I will show them here. So while I'm talking, I will basically just show you through what I'm doing and everything. So yeah, so if you look at the website, it is honestly, it's so easy to use, and I find they're so helpful at the Arden University. They were just one of my favourites. I did like opt between Arden and the Open Uni, but the Open University course, the Open University course that I wanted to do wasn't actually on there. Originally, when I first started my degree, I started doing law and human psychology, which the law side of it I loved, I enjoyed, but the human psychology side was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. So after a year of doing it and failing a couple of the exams and that you have to do, I was just like, look, it's just not worth it. I don't want to pay all this money for a degree that I'm really just not going to enjoy doing. And luckily, how amazing these guys are, they let me change my degree halfway through. So, don't necessarily feel that once you've picked a subject, that's what you have to stay on and do. A lot of universities, if you do try them and you feel like, no, this is not for me, they will let you switch on to new courses. So that's something to always bear in mind, which is better than some universities where you have to wait till the end of the year. I swapped halfway through the year, so. So the Arden University specialise in business, IT and law degrees. So they're not necessarily a university that you could do if you wanted to do things like art, photography, textiles, a little bit more of a hands-on kind of degree. But I do know the Open University have got a degree section for anybody who wants to do art degrees, designs, graphic designs. They have got a section here, and I will show you guys what it looks like. I did look at doing a textiles degree. Now I obviously did textiles when I was doing my A-levels and my GCSEs. I got A's in both A-level and GCSE. I really did enjoy it and I had a real passion for it, but I kind of had to sit there and look at it as a long-term thing. Would I want to do a career in textiles, and would textiles necessarily help the job I'm in? Would it actually help me get a degree? And for me it just wasn't, you know, wasn't the way, and I don't think I'm that talented with textiles that I could have made it a business. So that's just me though. Everybody is different, and if you are interested in doing a art or photography or anything like that, any of them kind of degrees, you know, do not sit there and think that I'm saying, oh well, that's not a degree. It is, and it is just as hard as any other degree, so definitely check all these people out. Now, funding with the degrees. Obviously it's a big question. Everybody asks, you know, how do you get funding for degrees, what help is there available, and what schemes and everything. So in the UK we can get free education, which is incredible. I cannot believe we are so lucky as a country to be able to have this option to have free education. And yeah, so how it works is you start the degree, you apply for your tuition fees from the Gov website and they will accept you, and basically what happens is the money gets funded straight to university. You don't actually get that money. So, you know, just in case anyone wants to run off with the, you know, £9,000 it is a year to study, you can't. It goes straight to the university, and they do payment schedules for it, so it goes off. And you can, if you are on a low income, you have dependents such as, you know, you have children, you can also apply for a grant, a tuition grant, which basically helps cover the costs of bills and books and studies. But the good thing I found with my universities, the Arden universities, is all done online. The whole course, you don't really need any books or anything. I just have a notepad and paper, which I like to just write everything down, but everything else, all your textbooks, everything is all done in the online library and printable materials. You do not need to buy any books. So I didn't need to apply for the grant, but you have to pay that grant back. Don't sit there and think that's a freebie. Like, cool, yeah, I get given like £3,000 a year to go to uni. You still have to pay that back at the end, so always remember that before you sit and apply. Themselves are really good in terms of how they can fit into your life. Now obviously I work full-time. I do nearly 40 hours a week in my current job. I'm a hairdresser at the weekends, so I'm pretty much a chock-a-block person. I very rarely have any spare time to do anything, and I can understand how people do sit here and think it's, oh, I haven't got time to do this degree, I wouldn't have time. But you only need to do roughly 16 hours a week to be classified as full-time with a degree, especially with the arts and university degrees. So I tend to find I do normally 2 to 3 hours an evening, maybe not even that. It depends on what I've got going on. So obviously if I've got an exam where I can do 2 different papers, then I may find, okay, I'll do from when I get home and had my dinner, so about 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock, I might, you know, sit and do a couple of hours of work. But yeah, on average you need to do about 16 hours, so that is really nothing. Honestly, you can just sit there and even just read your, like, print out your materials and read them in bed before you go to sleep, or take them with you to work on your lunch break. Or if you're, you know, you've got children and you're currently in the middle of they've gone down for a nap and you want to get on and do housework, you can put them onto your phone and slip your headphones in, and most of them have videos, so you can actually just put the podcast in and listen and go, which is so handy. And if you're like on the train, you're commuting, again, on your phone, tablets, there's no reason why you can't sit and do a degree. It's more a case if you don't want to make that time. I understand with your things going on, and I do have days where I sit there and think, oh, I haven't got time today, I'm shattered, I'm exhausted, and you know, I miss a day. But the rewards that you get from doing a degree, and honestly the feeling of happiness when you get papers back and they like mark them back as you've passed, you're like, yes, I'm doing this, I am smart. It is a different level, and I can't think of any better reason to do this than to better yourself. And you know, you could turn around and say to your family or your children, it's like, you know, mum's got a degree, dad's got a degree, you know, I worked hard, I had you know, and I still managed to get the degree. So I guess don't try and make up a reason not to do it. But obviously, again, this is totally different. You're obviously watching this video because you're not sure if you want to do a degree. So, you know, I would go, yeah, go for it. Why not, eh? So what I'll do is I'll show you, like, I'll log into my portal thing now so you can see what my little screen looks like from the Art and University. So when I log in, this is what I have. So I get like my modules, my student workbooks. I also get it for like, I guess it's like a student forum place, so you can discuss what's going on, and if there's like competitions or quizzes and things that other students need you to do, they're all on here. Your library, so you can log in and, you know, download any of the materials that you need for books and study. So you have no reason not to do well in this degree. Like, everyone goes, oh yeah, but do you go to a library and have to study? No. No, not at all. Very rarely that I'd have to ever go to a library. I just download it, like most modern people do now. So yeah, this is what my like module and my course template looks like. I am literally so bad at describing this, like, I'm ridiculous, sorry. But yeah, this is what it looks like. It's really handy and it's so easy to use, and everything is just in one place. It saves so much time, and the whole thing of having to go to university and carry books, laptops, everything. I don't need to. I've got it all in one place. Done. Obviously, what I said about the Open University being flexible for you, you know, you don't have to necessarily do it over 3 years. My degree is 3 years. I decided that I could put the time and effort into making it a 3-year course. But you can stretch it out to 6 years if you don't necessarily, if things get in the way, you know, illnesses, you know, if anyone passes away, or, you know, personal situations, if they get in the way, you can extend your degree to 6 years, which is really good. And again, it just means you can relax, take your time on it, and you don't have to necessarily rush all the exams and all the essays, and you can do a lot more reading. And, you know, it's up to everybody, their personal preference on how they want to do this degree. But for me, I enjoy doing the 3 years. I find 16 hours a week is really beneficial. You know, I'm not actually, it's not affecting me, it's not affecting my job. I love it. I love doing it. Now, obviously, the cons to doing a degree, you know, you're not going to watch this video and think, oh yeah, I'm positive, woo, go Holly, go Holly. Obviously, it is really time consuming. A degree is mentally and physically draining. Sometimes you can sit there, you'll be writing essays, your mind goes blank. You're just like, oh my god, how am I going to pass this? And you read books over and over again and they just don't sink in. You know, you have to be in that mindset sometimes of, I can do this, I will do this. And every single exam I've done, I've passed. I don't know why I worry so much, but I do. I panic all the time. But it's one of the things, it's so worth it at the end when you sit there and somebody says to you, oh, you know, you've passed your exam, and your tutor gives you feedback like, oh, I really enjoyed reading your essay. And it's just those little things you don't, when you're at school, when you're like a teenager and you go from secondary school, A-levels, and then straight to university, you're kind of like already in that motion of being at school, so you're kind of expecting, you know, what happens. But I obviously took a big break between finishing school and doing a degree, so it was really hard to get back in the swing of writing essays. But the Arden University do offer guides of how to write essays, and I have recently been to Waterstones and purchased a How to Write Law Essays book. Why not, eh? You know, more reading you do the better. Goes really well in the degree. You also have to bear in mind when you're doing a degree that you have to be really good at keeping deadlines. So if the exams are submitted and you get dates, you're right, you have to submit this deadline by 2 PM on this certain day, and it has to be done. So you have to be quite good at reaching deadlines and being motivated enough to think, right, I have to have this done by then, and organise your study time, study period, because you haven't really got a tutor sitting there saying, read your book. You know, you have to really want to do this, and you have to sit there and think every single day, right, I must read this, I must do that, I must write this part of an essay, and like that. You can't just expect it all to happen and do it all in 1 week. You get a good 6 to 8 weeks between in modules where you need to write essays and that, and be prepared that you will also have to go and sit an exam. I did have to go to Coventry and sit an exam because that is where my university is based. Obviously, Arden University isn't just for people in the UK. There are students all over the world that are doing this degree. I think in my course itself, I have got somebody in Asia, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, India. They're all over, and you can sit exams in different places, and some of them are free. But I did notice if I wanted to sit an exam here closer to home, I would have had to pay £120 to do so, which wouldn't have been too bad. But I had to weigh it up. Was it worth paying £120 to sit at a university close to me, or should I just go 2 hours down the road to Coventry? And I thought, I'll drive to Coventry, which I did, and that was incredible. Me and my mum went together because I was so scared and so worried. I'd never done that drive before, and I was like, oh my god, we stayed in this really cheap motel, like something you'd see in a horror movie. The fire alarm went off at 4 AM, my exam was at 9 AM, so I woke up at 4 AM, wide awake from then, studying, sitting in their canteen with toast, and it was literally the cheapest motel I've ever stayed at. Oh my god, it was awful. But you know, it got me that I stayed there literally for just the one night, and we came straight home the next day, so I didn't mind. I went a little weekend trip with my mum, so it's not really a con, but be prepared that you will eventually have to sit one exam. I know I had to. I think it was one of my law of evidence or something I had to go and sit, which it didn't matter. Again, that's just something to be aware of, so you know, do keep open-minded that if you do live quite far away from the university, from Coventry, if you do pick the Arden University, you may have to pay a fee to go and sit it somewhere else. And I'm not sure on the Open University if you have to go and do an exam. I guess it's just to prove one time you are who you are, even though you have to submit all the forms before you start the degree. I guess it's just them being safe. I don't know. Okay, so obviously the perks of being a student is uni days. Now, Uni Days is an app which basically gives you discounts and like all these discounts and everything. Let me just zoom into this. It gives you all the options. So obviously I get 41% off a Sky Sports month pass. I get discounts on Samsung, Calvin Klein's, everything. I love this app. So if I want to go shopping, I just go, I'm going to go to New Look, and you get discounts and that in stores. But you obviously have to have a student ID thing, and you normally get them with universities. So obviously I'm a verified student, which I'll have to re-verify in a couple of weeks time when I start my when I start my final year of my degree. So yeah, you know, you still get perks like any other student. I think you are entitled to a discount on buses and trains. I don't really know if that's an option anymore. I have never tried. To be fair, I don't really get a bus, I drive everywhere, so can't really say anything about that. You know, doing a degree I think it is just personal choice, and if you are sitting here thinking, you know, I would really like to get some more information on the degree, I will leave linked below the Arden University and the Open University. They're definitely worth looking at. If you are thinking you just want to do something different, you're not sure if you want to do it for a career change, or you're just thinking, you know, I want to do something new, something different, or prove people wrong like I did. You know, I am in my third and final year. I have 2 units left to go, and that is it. I have got my hands on a BA Honours degree, which is just as much recognised as any regular normal university degree where you actually go and get the experience. I would say that is the only big difference between doing the Open University and regular university, is obviously you do not get the same university life that you would get if you went to university. But if you're like me and you're in your 20s and you've got, you know, you've got family, I'm married, I have a job, I've had bills to pay, I couldn't go back and do the whole uni life. You know, the Open University and the Arden University are definitely worth taking a look, and you might actually be surprised of how smart you are. I am 100% smarter than I ever thought I was, and I'm so happy, and do you know what, I'm proud of myself that I've managed to do this, and I'm going to have a degree this time, hopefully in June for graduation. You will see pictures of me all over on Instagram of me graduating. So it's the best, it is so rewarding, and it's 100% worth doing. You know, go and talk to your partners, go talk to your family and friends, and see what they all think. They may all be really shocked that you're thinking of doing it, so definitely talk to people and do your research. So it's only a short but sweet video, guys, but I thought I'd do a little video in, you know, what I get up to behind the scenes. So that is my life. I'm doing a degree, if any of you didn't know. So if you are interested, you want any more questions answered, or you'd like to know, obviously send me a DM on Instagram, or even just comment in below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can and give you as much advice as I possibly can on what I'm learning from this degree. So yeah, before I keep babbling on, because I sound like I'm babbling on, I'm looking at myself in the camera thinking, Holly, shut up. So ciao, see you all soon, bye.
feet on the ground, and we will talk with our head in the clouds, and we will walk with our feet on the ground.